Ever since I was a kid, I was fat. I tried to exercise, I tried to diet, but nothing was working up until I learned exactly why I was addicted to eating, implemented some key tips, and lost that weight forever. So delving straight into it, let's cover how most food addictions start. Simply put, for the most part, it's just biological. All tasty food around us has quite literally been engineered by some nerd in a factory who's eating one food, eating another food, and split tasting which one is the crunchiest, which one tastes the best. They're always testing which artificial flavoring will leave the greatest hint of vanilla rainbow within your imagination. So when it gets packaged and comes to you at your house, you are more likely to get addicted to it, keep buying their product, and make that company more money. All this technique relies on is just a simple rise and dip in dopamine, which is the same for any other addiction. You get motivated to eat the food, you have the food, your dopamine spikes up a little bit, and then it drops down below baseline, which then motivates you to get another rise of dopamine by motivating you to have more food. Now, another way we can get addicted to food is more from the emotional and psychological aspect. This can come from trauma, eating disorders from chronic dieting, anxiety, and now I can't speak on most of these things, so do consider getting a therapist if it's your emotional brain that's putting you out of whack with dieting. But in the past, I have gotten over binge eating, so I guess I can speak on this a little bit. And one thing I can say for the most part is simply caused by over dieting or just an addiction. If you ever read any books on this topic, my favorite one was Brain Over Binge by Katherine Hansen. She describes how most of this behavior just comes from addiction or over dieting. And for all the clients she's ever worked with, it's always been the exact same two things. Most people that say they're binge eating or their poor eating habits are caused by trauma are just using it as a scapegoat to not take responsibility for their own life. And the only reason I'm being so harsh here is because I was one of them. Anyways though, now let's cover a couple of ways to stop food addiction. Number one, you're gonna have to change your mentality. Without this, the other two tips ahead of us will fail. You have to lower your ego and set your bar for success very low. Depending where you are within your diet, take the next step. Don't take the next leap. You can't expect to just cut out all junk food if you've never even dieted in your life before. If you want a quick fix that will be done immediately, this is not the channel for you and you can click off right away. Because on this channel, we focus on long-lasting results that unfortunately take months and years to achieve. If you don't like what I'm saying, go back to any of the other influencers that are gonna try to sell you some stupid fat loss pill. Anyways, you still here? Fantastic. Let's get on to the next two. Number two, slowly remove junk from your diet. My most successful diet was simply started by removing sugar from my coffee, which then further escalated into removing out little candies and then completely cutting out the junk food. This is what I mean by setting smaller goals. You want to start off slow. Get into the habit of slowly removing the junk food, and then we'll be able to supercharge this with the next tip on our list. But as you remove the junk, you're going to get less and less cravings for that food. It's going to take a while. You're going to have to rewire your brain for this. It will take months. It will take a couple of years before you fully get your brain used to enjoying regular food again, because you've been so screwed up by all of these different companies that have split tested their food to make the best vanilla rainbow tasting thing in your mouth, and you are now addicted to it. I swear, I think I could have put this in a much better way. That didn't sound too good, did it? But you get the point. It's just like any other addiction. If someone's been addicted to smoking, they're not just gonna quit in one day. It's gonna take a couple of tries. They're gonna slowly desensitize themselves to it, and over time, you're not gonna use the same neurons to take the same pathways in your brain. These connections are gonna be used up less, and slowly they're gonna disconnect. Now, number three, you want to incorporate high volume foods into your diet. As I said earlier, in number two, when you remove the junk food, in place of this, you want to add high volume, low calorie foods over a certain period of time. So we have this balance, as you can see. You're taking out the junk food and you're filling in the gaps with the low calorie, very nutritious food. So let's say you used to eat like 100 grams of chocolate per day. You can replace that with over a pound of carrots. So you would remove something like chocolate from your diet and add in a bunch of carrots or add in a bunch of vegetables. You know, if you remove all the added sugar from your diet, you replace this with some more beef. You replace this with maybe a little bit more starch within your diet. It's just making small switches like this over the span of a couple of months to a year that are going to drastically change your diet. And this is the only way I've seen it work for anyone, frankly. You're not going to hop onto some magical diet that's going to change your life forever. It's just slow, incremental, step-by-step progress that does end up changing your diet in a way where you can stick to it and not rebound. If you want to fast track your progress, press the first link in the description. We have a completely free Skool group where we have courses on weight loss, a bunch of like-minded people you can talk to, more videos and unconventional tips like this. I'm soon going to make it paid, so if you join now, you get a free lifetime membership. If I gave you anything of value, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to stay savvy with your diet.